What is up, everybody? My name is BobaTalks and welcome to a brand new Flash Season 4 trailer breakdown, as well as some promo photos breakdown, because, you know, the promo photos have been released for next week's episode, and as this is a very quick trailer, I thought, you know, obviously digging into some of these promo pictures will give us a little bit more context to what we see in the trailer. But as always, guys, before we get into this trailer breakdown, let's have a look at it.
Used to be a cop.
A dirty cop. There's a list of people that want to toss him off roofs.
Oh, you're seeing this stuff. I finally puked.
You got a dirty little The Flash, only next Tuesday at 8, 7 Central on the CW.
Now, that was a pretty cool trailer, but as I said, it was a very quick one. But as if you didn't already notice, this trailer features the introduction of the Elongated Man, as well as Danny Trejo's Breacher. So I'm very excited to see both of these characters, mainly Danny Trejo's character Breacher, which is Gypsy's father, in case you didn't already know. So I believe with the introduction of Breacher, this is going to introduce a lot of natural, funny moments into this episode, rather than the forced moments like we saw last episode. Well, I say forced, but I really just don't like what they're doing with stuff like the funeral scene where Iris and Barry wanted to get married last episode. And I just felt like that was way too far. I know I'm kind of going off topic at the minute, but I don't mind all the other comedy, like the Cisco stuff, the occasional Barry stuff, blah, but scenes like that, ugh. So at the beginning of the trailer, we see Ralph being like dangled over the edge of this building, and we hear Joe saying he used to be a cop, and then Barry interrupts, kind of saying a dirty cop. And it says in the synopsis as well, which I actually forgot to read out, so I'm going to read that out now. Cisco is shocked when Gypsy's father, Breacher, shows up on Earth 1. Breacher takes an immediate disliking to Cisco and decides to hunt him. Meanwhile, Barry runs into his old nemesis, Ralph Dibny. So what I was going to actually say before I read out that synopsis is that Barry, from the synopsis, is supposedly, or should I say Ralph is Barry's nemesis or old nemesis. And I don't think that is in terms of obviously the Flash form. It's very clearly meant in terms of what they were like in the past to each other, what their relationship kind of was before. So maybe it was when they were like training to join the CCPD. At the same time, Barry isn't exactly a cop, so I don't know how they would have properly interacted, but at the same time I don't know how any of this stuff is accurate in obviously the Flash TV show to real life. But maybe when you do join the CCPD, whether regardless of if you're a forensic or you know actually going for a cop or detective position, you have to probably go through some basic stuff, and you know, the very basic level cop school stuff. I don't know. And I'm thinking, since the synopsis says obviously that he's like Barry's old nemesis or something like that, then they probably didn't get on exactly great. And I'm thinking probably more of like a Julian vibe right at the beginning of season 3 between him and Barry. That I can imagine it was something like that, and this is why Barry's talking about him with such distaste in the trailer. But the interesting thing we see is that Breacher is actually using his powers to wipe out the Flash and Ralph. I don't know for what reason. My best guess would probably be that since it said in the synopsis that he is hunting down Cisco because he takes an immediate disliking to him, so probably something to do with Gypsy and how he doesn't approve of him being his her daughter's boyfriend. So I can imagine Barry and Ralph are somehow getting in the way of Cisco, because in the promo photos, which is kind of handy because it gives us a bit more of an insight into what we saw from this trailer, is that we see Barry and Ralph standing there with both kind of grins on their faces, but also in another couple of shots we see Cisco and Ralph there as well. So it's kind of confusing. I'm thinking maybe Breacher blasts Barry and Ralph for whatever reason, because it could be because they know where Cisco is, because in the next picture we see Cisco standing in front of Ralph, and this is another shot we saw in the trailer as well. We see Ralph kind of on the floor, probably just after he got hit with Breacher's power, and now Cisco is standing in front of him, probably, you know, kind of in a protective stance. And I can imagine that's because, you know, he just breached in and he's like, look, yo, Breacher, I want to impress you and everything because you're my girlfriend's father, but you can't be doing this, or something like that. But while we're still looking at this scene of Barry, Ralph, Breacher, and Cisco, we can see in this other promo picture that they're all kind of standing together. We can see Barry's got his hand on Ralph, probably saying like, you know, you need to be with me or stay with me, because obviously they're kind of after him in the episode for whatever reason. But we can see that they're all looking at something. So if Barry's looking at something, Ralph is looking at something, even Breacher is looking at something, kind of with a very vicious face on himself, and Cisco seems to be looking at Barry. I don't know, it could just be like, what the hell is that? I don't know, maybe there's something also common in this episode that will bring these guys together, and maybe this is how Cisco will actually earn the respect of his girlfriend Gypsy's father, Breacher, because he can obviously show off how he's not just some, you know, waste of space. He's actually Vibe, who's a really cool dude, a very cool superhero, as well as scientist, and, you know, there's no reason why Breacher should really dislike him. Now let's take a look back at the trailer. Now we can see actually some of the Elongated Man's powers of his actual arms stretching out, and then Team Flash reacting like, what the hell is this? You know, what is going on? This is just crazy. Joe's puking. Everyone else just looks absolutely surprised. Caitlin looks kind of as well as shocked but fascinated at the same time. So I actually think this looks pretty cool. That, you know, considering the Flash and the CGI in the past, this actually doesn't look mega bad at all. I hope that, you know, in other shots it looks as okay or as good even as it does here. But let me know what you think of this actual moment in the trailer where we actually see a little bit of the demonstration of the Elongated Man's metahuman abilities. But that's all there is to the actual trailer. It was very, very short, and I think it was pretty cool. I'm kind of glad they didn't show too much, because honestly, too much is almost sometimes too much, if that makes sense, because we don't want to always be spoiled, or like we don't want them to give away too much, which I feel like some other shows, like even Gotham, actually tends to do. But let's go back to some new promo photos for this episode. We can see that Cisco is here with Harry, and I'm just so happy that Harry is back in the Flash now. It's just not right without a Harrison Wells in the TV show, regardless of what Harry it is. We always need one of them. We always need a Tom Cavanaugh, really. But in this promo photo, we can see that Cisco is like sort of holding this duffel bag, and he actually gives it to Harry, or puts it on the table at least, for wherever it looks like Harry is working in this episode. And I can't exactly make out what is in it, but I'm sure it might be relevant to the episode for whatever they're doing. I mean, we do get a little peek at it, and it looks like it could be a part of somebody's costume, but honestly, it's really hard to make out. So I'd love to know what your thoughts are as to what is in this duffel bag that Cisco was holding and then just put on the table, and maybe Harry's to work on whatever is inside of it. Now, the last few promo photos kind of made me laugh, because one after the other, they make sense. You'll see what I mean in a second. But I think they could be from the end of the episode, because in this photo here, we see Cisco and Gypsy. Well, we see Cisco smiling and Gypsy's kind of looking like, eh? And because in the next photo, we see, well, they may not necessarily be in order, but regardless, I definitely think they're from the end of the episode. Because in the next photo, we see Danny Trio, should I say Breacher, looking very grumpy, which is a look he wears best. And in the next one, we see Breacher and Gypsy basically looking like they're about to leave. And this is why I think it's at the end of the episode, because from the other picture, we saw Cisco smiling with Gypsy there, and we see Breacher just standing there, you know, as I said, just looking like they're about to leave. And I got a feeling, as I said earlier, you know, throughout this episode, Danny Trio, should I say Breacher, kind of thought, well, maybe Cisco isn't that bad. He's just not some waste of space. He's clearly some, you know, guy I can respect, or could at least, you know, in his eyes, cope with handling that, you know, he is my daughter's boyfriend. And I do think that this is when they're going back to their own Earth, because we see Cisco basically, you know, holding Gypsy, and they're about to kiss, and then we see another picture of Breacher looking very, as if he's looking at them kissing, and it probably could be that very scene, looking very, very grumpy, because, well, you know, his daughter's getting kissed by a guy he didn't really like at the beginning of the episode. But at the same time, this is a lot of a speculation. That is what these trailer breakdowns are, really. This could actually even be the beginning of the episode, where they come to Star Labs, and then, you know, this is where he doesn't really like Cisco at the beginning, or he gets that dislike for him, so he tries to hunt him throughout the episode. But I don't know, to me it kind of feels like maybe this is when they're leaving. I would love to know your thoughts in the comments below. I could be wrong, I could be right, we could all be wrong, or, you know, you could be right. So let me know in the comments down below, guys, as to what you think is going on in the trailer, as well as these promo photos. But apart from that, everybody, that is all there is to this video. So let me know in the comment section down below what you're thinking of The Flash so far, and what you're most looking forward to in next week's episode. Is it the Elongated Man? Is it Danny Trio's Breacher? I think for me, it's mixed with Danny Trio's Breacher as well as Ralph's Elongated Man. I hope that the Elongated Man isn't going to be cringy in terms of the CGI. So far, from the very short glimpse we got in this trailer, it looks okay. So I hope that it kind of lives up to a little bit of the hype we are all feeling. Also, for me personally, I just want a little bit less forced comedy in the next episode, but I don't know how, if that's even going to come true, because this season they're really trying to go back to season 1, but I feel like they're doing that times 10. They could just go back to season 1, that would be great, but they're really forcing some things in this season, which I feel like, don't get me wrong, some of it is great, most of it is great even, but there's some moments, like in the therapy sessions, where they, you know, made punchline jokes of Eddie's death, Barry's parents' death, the things that formed the person he was. In the latest episode, there was just some scenes like, you know, that whole let's get married now scene and then the funeral stuff. I get how there's comedy factors to it, but for me, that's too much, and it really is sitcom-y, if that makes sense. So I would love to hear your thoughts on that in the comments below. Don't get me wrong, I'm not hating, it's just I feel like there are some forced moments, but most of the comedy, especially the Cisco, Caitlin, Team Flash kind of stuff, I love. But moments like that, like these two moments I pointed out already, are a bit too far. Or should I just say unnecessary? But go ahead and leave a like on this video if you did enjoy it. It really does help out the channel. And if you want to stay a little bit more up to date with me, you can do so by following me on Twitter or Facebook. I'm most active on Twitter, so the link should be popping up around somewhere here, maybe, I'm not sure. And other than that, guys, thank you so much for watching today. I hope you have a lovely rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye. Look at that bloody goddamn girl.